Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome once again to yet another episode on Live Signatures Radio. This is episode number 1297. We're angling toward the goal. And even as we're doing so, we are in a series which we started, and of course, we've already come far. We're just about to get into the midpoint of this season, this series. And we in this series are talking about getting the most out of your virtual attendance. Getting the most out of your virtual world. Of course, you know what has happened in the recent past. We have been attending virtual meetings, virtual trainings, virtual masterminds, and virtual working, and so on. And of course, if you've been one of those guys who've been attending this, you know sometimes how distracted you can be because no one is in your presence. You're doing a meeting virtually, or either on your phone or on your laptop. And nobody is in your room, and therefore you can be able to put your screen and your video off, and then you walk away, and the meeting goes on speaking to itself, and maybe you put it on a loudspeaker until someone says, "Oh, Lawrence, are you there?" And that's when you rush back to the screen and you start. We're talking about how can you make the most out of these virtual meetings. So today, let us look at the second way. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
In the episode yesterday, to do a recap, we say that if you're going to get the most out of any virtual attendance that you are a part of, if you're going to get the most out of a virtual meeting that you're not facilitating, virtual training that you're not facilitating, virtual mastermind that you're not facilitating, the very first thing that you're going to do is to make sure that you prepare yourself mentally. You align yourself. When you do that, what is the advantage? Your mind is attuned to assimilate. Your mind starts anticipating, and your mind starts getting focused towards receiving, and you're going to receive as much. This is true even in the virtual world and as it is in the physical world, in the empirical world. If you don't prepare yourself, you're not going to get the most out of it. But we're talking about purely the virtual world. What can you do to make the most out of the virtual meetings, virtual trainings? Number two, if you're going to get the most out of this, number two, you will need to purpose to give your all. This is before the meeting begins, before the training begins, before the mastermind begins. Purpose to give your all. You know why this is important? It is important because you are not in the presence of the facilitator. You are not in the presence of other people that can immediately, how can I put it? Can immediately, even if not directly, but indirectly hold you accountable to your participation. When you are attending a physical meeting and a friend sees you on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, and the facilitator is busy, dumping and waxing eloquent and lyrical about some principles and about some topics, they look at your face and you get the message. You know that I'm supposed to give my all and I'm not. But when you are in your own bedroom, in your own living room. Sometimes people attend these virtual meetings in their toilets. When you are there, nobody is going to hold you accountable. You will be the only one that's going to hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself accountable, you become your own leader. And let me tell you this, don't cheat yourself, don't lie to yourself. It doesn't happen automatically. My friend normally says that growth is not the default mode for the humans. Drifting is. In that if you're left alone, you will easily drift instead of growing. So what's happening here is that if you don't purpose to give your all, if you don't make it an intention that I'm going to give my all to that particular meeting, when we talk about giving your all, and yesterday we talked about preparing, it means you're going to arrange, organize, plan to seclude the duration of that particular meeting or that particular training. If it is 1 hour, you're going to get your presence out of every other thing. Get your presence out of social media. Get your presence out of your physical living room with other people. Get your presence out of driving. And purpose to give your all to this meeting. Wherever you go, we're normally told, be there. So be in this meeting. Be in this training. Get the distractions away. Switch off every other thing that is supposed to be switched off. Purpose to give your all. Let me tell you, if you do not purpose to give your all, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So if you're not careful, you find that you will treat this virtual meeting as something that is not as important unless, of course, it is a meeting where you are discussing your payment terms. You're discussing what am I going to benefit physically out of this? Why should I not be promoted? That's when you attune yourself, you're present. You need to mentally purpose to give your absolute best to this meeting. The way you're going to do it is to lock everything outside and enter this meeting in your mind and in your virtual mind, in your physical mind. Enter this meeting undistracted. Go ahead and not only make a mental note, but tell yourself that you will be there. You will be present. You will be attentive. You will give your all as the meeting progresses. You will not be distracted. Purpose not to be distracted. Purpose not to double multitask. That's what the word we normally use. I'm going to multitask. Don't. Be as single-minded and as focused. That's the way you're going to give your all. As single-minded, as focused into this meeting, as nobody else can be able to do but yourself. It will go a long way in mentally checking you to make sure that you're living up to your own standards for this particular virtual meeting. If you don't purpose to give your all, you are already open to indiscipline because there's no one to take you, make you accountable. You already purposed to being distracted because there are very many distractions around you. You already purposed to be mediocre, just be average, just to give your average attendance to it, as long as your name is going to be seen on the screen. But you're cheating yourself if that is the case. If you're going to make the most out of these things, you will, of course, purpose that I am going to give my best. How do you give if you're not the presenter, if you're not the facilitator? You give your attention. They normally say, don't think that even if someone has paid school fees for you, there's nothing for you to pay. No, you've got to pay attention. It costs you focus. It costs you your mental energy. It costs you your attendance. And also, if you're going to give your best, we have already said yesterday that you should purpose to ask some questions, and I'm going to talk about that in another episode. Purpose to not just come empty-headed. Purpose to come loaded with something that you can be able to share or something that you can be able to ask. We're going to talk about that in a later episode. But ladies and gentlemen, you will not make the most out of a virtual meeting or a virtual training if you don't purpose to give your all. Tomorrow we're going to look at another thing. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.